I'm about to give you guys the best KBM B06 sniping tips, tricks, settings, and class setups for those who are trying to get better, or even considering making the switch to keyboard and mouse. So you can snipe and move like this, just watch.
Again. That's some dangerous left.
Oh my god, he has it.
Here you go.
Oh, he's gonna hit my foot.
Area's clear.
Nice movement, bro.
Yo, is my mic low? Oh, my god.
One fugitive remains. Terminate.
Before I jump into anything, sniping in this game is pretty challenging. Due to the off-centered aiming, the massive vertical recoil, or the bobble that you get after shooting, the flinch being outrageous in this game, and the time to kill with red guns being overpowered like every COD usually. Before I go over all of the class setups and important settings, I'm going to give you guys some in-game tips and my personal tips and tricks that helped me make the switch to keyboard and mouse a lot easier. I've been playing keyboard and mouse for almost 4 years, so I can say that I'm pretty experienced with it. Centering your shot and crosshair placement is very important in this game. If you have a fast pace or an aggressive playstyle like me, you gotta be ready for an enemy to appear at any given time. You want to center your crosshair to essentially predict what your opponent is gonna do next, or center it. If you're running around the map, you'll be perfectly lined up for the shot at any given time. Now there's definitely going to be situations where you may have to readjust or make fast plays, which all of this comes over time. The main goal of this is to do everything outside of your scope to get those fast kills. Also, don't be afraid to jump shot in this game. It definitely can still be done once you get the feel of it. Some of the other things I like to go over is silent shotting, or how to silent shot. Most of you guys know how to do this already, probably, but if you don't, this is how you do it. But all you essentially have to do in this game, which I wouldn't recommend doing it after every shot, I'd only do it here and there, is to shoot and pull out your combat axe or throwing knife and swap your weapon, and then it'll cancel the animation. Also, you can get a shot actually silent, but it's only in kill cam, sadly, which sucks. It used to not only being just in kill cam, but now it's only in kill cam. The next thing I like to go over is some tips for my movement, or how I move in general. The first tip I like to give you guys for movement is to make sure you run around with your knife a lot. You're just going to notice you're going to fly around the map a lot better, more smoothly, and a lot quicker. Compared to running with your sniper out, as you can see, it's just a lot slower, and then when you pull out your knife here and there, it's just going to be a lot quicker. So I definitely recommend running the knife. Another thing you guys should be doing is slide canceling like every single second almost in your gameplay, just because it's going to be a lot quicker and you're going to feel like you're going to move 10 times faster compared to just running without slide canceling. It'll also make you a lot harder to be hit since you're a fast moving target, and you'll just be moving a lot smoothly. Now the type of movement I like to do is moving my mouse a lot back and forth and spinning a lot while YYing. And a lot of stuff you'll be seeing me do is spinning while sliding. There's really no point in doing this really. I just do it because it's just how I play, how I got used to playing. And I just have fun playing like this in general. And with Omni movement being in the game, you can slide to the left and right while spinning. So if you can perfect that, it'd be really nice for your shot. And it'll be really clean to do, and you'll throw your opponents off guard like almost any time. It's not guaranteed though, because you know the lobbies like to get bad. But anyways, I also like to slide back too and spin, so if you can get used to it, it'd be really clean to do. Another thing you'll see me doing a lot is jumping forward and spinning like this constantly. There's really no need to do it, but in my opinion, I just do it because I like doing it. I don't know, I've always done it, even on Modern Warfare 3 especially. You see me like spin crazy like that. I don't know, I just like to do it a lot. You'll also see me dive a lot and spin like this. In my opinion, the same reason I just got used to doing it on this game, especially on this game, since you can shoot while diving and go for some clean shots. But yeah, that's why I do that. Also, real quick, another thing I like to go over is game sense. Many people neglect this, but it's very, very important in my opinion, obviously. But game sense is just how much you understand the game, like the map knowledge, how you know where people are going to be at, and how you take fights / disengage fights, stuff like that. I'm going to show you a quick example right here. So if I'm playing a pub, I just know someone might run through this door right here, just because they do it like every single time. If not, I would maybe run through, check my right, check your angles too, obviously, because that's very important as well. You want to make sure you check before you just run out in the open and make yourself an open target. I also recommend using a sensitivity that you're comfortable with, preferably a higher to a mid sense, so that way you're not looking around the map like a robot. Which, speaking of sensitivities, let's move over to the settings. Now for my sensitivity, I've been using the same sense on every game and never changed it. I currently use the Logitech G Pro X Superlight mouse with 5.8 cents and 1600 DPI, which I highly recommend finding your own sensitivity so you can find what you're comfortable with. Also, constantly changing your sensitivity and not actually giving yourself time to get used to it and get it down will only harm you more than benefit you. The way I found a perfect sensitivity was messing around with it until I found something that I really liked. I also constantly played aim labs to get used to it, and over time you just build muscle memory with it. Another thing you can try if you're trying to find a sensitivity is to shoot around on bots and private matches for a bit. That will help with centering or trying to find a sensitivity that you're comfortable with. All of these right here are a preference. I don't recommend touching them. I always left them default personally. And then same thing with this, default. Mouse advanced settings, I recommend using either instant or gradual. I personally would rather use gradual. These I didn't touch because it's off. Look inversion all standard. I use 1.33 monitor distant coefficient. I heard a lot of people change this. I would just left the default. This is also precision. It's just default as well. The only thing I really did touch in this section was mouse calibration, and I put this down to 50 so I can swap weapons quicker. And me personally, being able to swap weapons quicker is very, very important in this game. Just in case you get a hit marker, you might want to swap to your pistol. Most of these settings are preferences. You can use whatever you really want, whatever you're comfortable with. That's what I always tell people. I always tell them to use whatever they're comfortable with and not to copy other people's settings, but I'm still going to show you my keybinds anyway. So if you want my keybinds, you can copy them right here. They're on screen right now, obviously. So if you want them, they're right here. And then for the movement binds, I use tactical sprint assist. This right here will be very, very, very good for keyboard and mouse. I don't know too much about controller. I know most people with controller use it only on and tactical sprint assist off, just so they can get that shot instantly on. And then you want to make sure the sprint assist delay is on 0. Mantle assist is off, crouch assist is off. I have corner slice on only because I preferably like it. And then I have crouch behavior on toggle, prone behavior on toggle, sprint / tactical sprint behavior on toggle as well. All of these, like I said, are preference as well. It's whatever you're comfortable with. It doesn't really affect how you play too much. Same thing with like all of this, sprint restore on, slide maintain sprint. I obviously recommend to have that on. That's just going to be the best way. It continues to sprint after you performing a slide. And then mantle cancels reload. I also recommend having that on as well, so you don't keep reloading after mantling. And then for the movement advanced settings, most of these should be default. I didn't really touch any of them. The only thing I touched was the tactical sprint activation. I set that to single tap sprint. Other than that, all of these are default. And then I also actually use slide to dive activation as shared. I like it as shared personally. It just feels way better to me. I can use the same keybind to crouch and prone. But the only problem with that, keyboard and mouse tends to get a lot of dead slides. So maybe running independent might be better for some people. I just run shared. Now I'm going to real quick also scroll through all my graphic settings. This is what works for me. You guys can copy it. I know some of you guys might play on consoles, so you guys are going to have different settings compared to what I have. So just copy whatever. Field of view, I have it set to 120. This just makes your field of view wider so you can see more of your surroundings. ADS field of view, you gotta have that on affected, otherwise you get inconsistency when aiming down your sights. Definitely don't run independent. And then weapon field of view, I run wide and makes your weapon smaller so you can see more of your surroundings instead of having your weapon block the entire field of view. And then obviously make sure you have world motion blur off, and then weapon motion blur, and then make sure you have both of your cameras on 100%, and then third person ADS, and then inverted flashbang. This is a preference. You don't necessarily have to run it. Now let's jump into the class setups. Okay, so first off, both of the class setups are going to be very similar only because they use the same perks and the wild card. So first off, we're going to start with the LW3 Frost line. You got to make sure you have Gunfighter on for 8 attachments, otherwise you're beyond cooked. And then for the perks, I recommend using double time so you can get that movement speed. They did bring out Slipstream. You can use it. I personally like double time only because I play Search and Destroy and I feel like it's better in Search and Destroy. With Slipstream, it feels like I run a lot slower. And then the second perk, you want to make sure you have fast hands on to swap weapons quicker. For the first perk, make sure you have Flap Jacket on. This right here will help in Search and Destroy a lot. People love to throw nades in Search and Destroy. You could run Gun Ho, but I recommend running Flap Jacket. And then for the field upgrade, I run War Cry. It is really good in Search and Destroy to give it to your whole team. If you don't believe me, try it out. I 100% recommend War Cry. And then for the lethal and tactical that I feel like everyone should run if you're sniping is the combat axe and stims. And then obviously I use the knife and fully automatic pistol. Now for the actual sniper build, you want to make sure you have rapid fire on to get that first shot off and to rechamber quickly. Without this attachment on, you will be slow as a slug. I kid you not, bro. Then you want to make sure you have the tactical laser on, which will help with accuracy. And then for this sniper in particularly, I recommend running the heavy stock only because the flinch is way worse with this sniper, so make sure you run the heavy stock. And then for the comb, the quick draw riser for the aim down sight speed. And then for the magazine, I recommend running the extended mag 1. It's just the best out of the 3 here, in my opinion. It's just going to be the best. And then for the stock pad, I recommend running the precision pad just because it'll help with the bobble that you get with your sniper. It's so annoying. I would definitely recommend running the precision pad just because of that reason, especially with this sniper in particular, just because the bobble is way worse. Like I said, the same with the flinch resistance, way worse on this sniper. It's really fast though, and I do like using it. It's just way worse on the sniper. And then for the barrel, I use the reinforced barrel just because of the hit markers with this sniper that you get. You'll definitely need the reinforced barrel for this sniper only because you'll get literally almost no hit markers with it. You still do hit mark with it even after they buff this sniper, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. And then finally, I use the muzzle brake on this sniper. I tried everything else. It's absolutely useless. I would just put the muzzle brake on. It helps with flinch resistance. It's just the best out of the 4 here. Now, moving on to the LR. First off, the perks are going to be the same, pretty much all the same. Moving on to the attachment. Like I said, there's only going to be a few different attachments on the sniper in particularly. So we obviously run the muzzle brake on this one as well, and rapid fired on this one. I would run rapid fired on pretty much every sniper, honestly, in this game, just because of how slow they are. Hopping right into the laser, where we use the stairlock laser. It just helps with the bullet going more straight. It just helps in general with that. Helps with more accuracy. And then going into the stock, we use the light stock. It helps with movement speed. It just helps with speed in general. I definitely recommend running that just because of how clunky the sniper feels without it on. And also I move a lot, so technically it will work for me. The rear grip, I recommend using the quick draw grip, an ADS attachment. It just will make it way quicker. And then for the magazine, we already use the extended mag 1 on the Frost line, so I don't really have to explain it again. We'll just go right to the underbarrel. For the underbarrel, I use the precision handguard. This right here will help with flinch resistance and just will make the bullet go more straight as well. It'll just help when you're like ADSing and you see like the idle sway when like your scope's going all over the place. Definitely recommend running that. And then finally, the short barrel. I definitely recommend running this as well, only because it'll help with ADS. And it'll also help with sprint to fire. It'll just be way faster. This sniper you mostly want to build for speed since the damage is already high. So just primarily build it for speed. Anyways, that's everything I know. Hopefully this will help you guys learn keyboard and mouse or get better at sniping on Black Ops 6. If this did help in any way, even in the slightest, any support will greatly be appreciated. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you soon.